Once in the land of Israel, the Philistines ruled with an iron fist, oppressing the people. But little did they know, God had a plan to deliver his people, and it would come in the form of a man of great strength, a man named Samson. Samson's mother, a woman from the tribe of Dan, had been childless for many years. She prayed fervently to God, asking for a child. One day, as she sat praying, an angel appeared before her. The angel spoke words of promise. "Fear not. You will have a son. He will be no ordinary child. He will be a Nazarite, dedicated to God, and his strength will be unmatched. From his hands, God will deliver Israel from the Philistines." Samson's parents, amazed and grateful, knew their son would be a mighty instrument in God's plan. They vowed to raise him with the sacred vows of a Nazarite: no alcohol, no cutting of his hair, and avoiding the unclean. As Samson grew, so did his strength. It was said that no man could match his might. On his journey to marry a Philistine woman, something extraordinary happened. Samson came across a lion, its roar echoing through the valley. In a moment of divine strength, Samson tore the lion apart with his bare hands, a feat that left him unscathed, showing the power that God had bestowed upon him. Samson's strength wasn't just for show. When the Philistines angered him, he did something they couldn't believe. He captured 300 foxes, tied torches to their tails, and set them loose among the Philistine grain fields. The fields burned to the ground, and the Philistines were enraged. But Samson's power was unmatched, and he continued to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. One day, the Philistines captured Samson, and they came to take him to prison. But even in captivity, God's strength flowed through him. When they mocked him, Samson asked for a weapon, and in his hand was the jawbone of a donkey. With that jawbone, Samson struck down 1,000 Philistine soldiers, one after another. He fought as though the very strength of God was within him, and it was. When the dust settled, the Philistines lay defeated, and Samson stood tall, victorious once again. But Samson's greatest strength was also his greatest weakness, his love for women. In the valley of Sorek, Samson met a woman named Delilah. She was beautiful, but she would betray him for a price. The Philistine rulers approached her with a deal: "Find the secret of Samson's strength, and we will reward you beyond measure." Delilah, cunning and determined, sought to learn the secret. She asked Samson, time and again, where his strength lay, but each time he deceived her. Finally, Samson foolishly revealed the truth. His strength was bound to his uncut hair, a symbol of his vow to God. That very night, while Samson slept, Delilah betrayed him. She had his hair cut, and when he awoke, his strength was gone. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and cast him into prison. The once mighty Samson, now weak and blind, was a prisoner of his own foolishness. The Philistines mocked him, believing they had finally defeated the man who had once brought them fear. Months passed, and Samson's hair began to grow back. The Philistines, unaware of this, held a great feast in their temple to honor their god Dagon. They brought Samson out, mocking him and celebrating their victory. Samson, though broken, had not forgotten his God. With his hair growing back, his strength began to return. In a moment of prayer, Samson asked God for strength just one more time to defeat the Philistines. With his newfound strength, Samson pushed against the massive pillars of the temple. The ground shook, the temple began to collapse, and with one final act of strength, Samson brought down the entire building. The Philistines, celebrating moments before, were destroyed, and Samson, though he perished with them, was victorious. Though his life was filled with moments of failure and betrayal, Samson's final act was one of redemption. In his death, he fulfilled his purpose to deliver Israel from the Philistines. His story is a reminder that God can use even the most flawed people for his great plans. Samson's strength came not from himself, but from God. Samson's story teaches us about faith, redemption, and sacrifice. What did you learn? Share your thoughts in the comments, like and subscribe for more inspiring stories.